Hey folks, today we want to show you some storage ideas that we've come up with over the last few weeks and talk about some of the updates on our channel, so stay tuned. As you've seen recently, we have a new addition to the family and we don't have enough bedrooms for everybody. So we're in a panic at this point. We did buy another one of these tents. If you have been with our channel for a long time or you saw some of our early videos, we had a Shelter Logic, I think it was a 10 by 20 or 12 by 20, kind of a tent canvas covered building. This is the same thing, only it's larger. This is a 14 by 32. We intend to put that together pretty soon, so hopefully we can show you some of that on video. And we had some ideas that we learned from the last one. We think we can do a better job and maybe make it a little bit more reliable than the last one was. So that's something to be on tap. Still, we'd like to keep most of the stuff inside. So behind me, we'll check out some of the other things that we've done. The first thing I want to show you is this Artilian fork and bucket cart. So it all sets on one cart, and the bucket sets up on top of a piece of steel here, all on the wheels. You can take either the bucket or the forks out of it independently. So this is kind of how I used to store things anyway. I would put the bucket on the forks. The negative of that is I always had to take the bucket off, throw it aside somewhere, but in this case I can actually still leave the bucket on the cart. So it's easy to rotate and works really fine, so you can put either thing you want on the tractor. By the way, we have a bunch of other stuff from Artilian that just came in the mail recently. That's another reason we have a storage issue. One of the things is this backrest. We'll show you more about this backrest in some video, but it easily comes off of the fork frame. Quite simply, just lift it up and off. It's hooks into that little chain link guard that we've showed you other times on the video. Here's more stuff from Artilian. I guess I might ask you to leave in the comments section, what are some Artilian products that you've been wanting to see a little bit more detail, more in action? Go to the Artilian.com website and just have a look at some of the products and let us know what is most interesting to you that you might want to see on this channel. We'd be happy to work with the folks at Artilian to see if we can get some of those items and show them to you. We've got several of them here. Some are unboxed, some are still in the boxes, but we'll get to showing you those throughout the videos this winter. Probably the biggest change over the past year or so from a storage standpoint is our usage of these pieces of scaffolding. Now these are Chinese pieces, right? I mean, they're available at almost every store that features all the Chinese goods. That would be the Harbor Freight, the Menards, the Rural King. Now you can get them, if you'll look hard, you can get them for $150. Sometimes on the Black Friday sale at Menards, you can get them for $100. So that's about the best price I've ever seen them. A lot of times they may be listed at $200 or more. I would just try to find a better price because you could beat that price. These have an adjustable height deck on them, okay? We've put it about this high for a particular reason. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So at this height, Johnny can go right up to the steering wheel. And that really provides another dimension to our storage. Now our first piece of scaffolding was the one that we used here to put the Artilian grapple on. And we realized that we could fit the 260 backhoe under that, the grapple and some things like that. And that's kind of the inspiration that we use. We already had that scaffold, and that's the inspiration we've actually used to get these others. Of course, with pallets, we're able to use Johnny and lift up anything we want, like the stump grinder here. We're able to put on a pallet, lift right up here, set on these scaffolds. We find this a great solution and another way to give a third dimension to your storage space.
It looks like you have some new wall art.
But yeah, we've got several things on the wall. I've really tried to figure out what to do with my old garden plow. I mean, that's got a lot of sentimental value to me, but to be honest, now that we've got the Haas plows, I'll probably not use it much again. I just couldn't let it go.
No.
So it's going to earn a spot right up there on the wall. Then we wanted to feature these two heavy hitch products, right? I typically use the offset hitch. And there are three varieties. The one up on the top left is the Super Duty. The one on the bottom right is the double hitch, right? Takes 2 rows of weight brackets. So I usually use the offset version, but I wanted to be able to show the other two so I can kind of show the differences in different videos and things like that. So thought it'd be good just to hang them on the wall. And I just used one of those bolts that has a hook that sticks out and screw threads on it, and screwed it right into a stud in the wall. I think it'll hold them. They're pretty heavy though. After all, they are. Heavy hitch. Now here you'll see that we're still storing our 260 backhoe on a couple of small furniture dollies. That doesn't work very well. It's better than just sitting it on the ground. At least I can move it, but it doesn't move very well. The wheels on these furniture dollies, the smaller style, they really aren't big enough. Now there's a lot of good designs for storing these backhoes on greentractortalk.com. There's a particular design someone has published there, and several variations have been done on that design with pictures and descriptions. It's worth checking out if you're interested in building your own storage cart for your 260 backhoe. If you guys think it would be interesting, let me know. We might build one here on this channel. Now I like to store everything on my first layer here on wheels. So the bush hog here is on a full-size pallet rack. Now that works perfectly. Just the front end of it. The back end has a wheel, obviously. I wish that I could push it all the way under my pallet racking here, but I can't. I could, take one of these bolts out or something for the winter, but it really isn't worth it to me, at least at this point. At least that makes it such that when I want to hook on, I can grab that, slide it out here, and hook it on Johnny in just a jiffy. Works really well. Now the pallet racking itself, several folks have asked about this. Where did you get this? Where did you get this? Did you get it from Kubota because it's orange? No, we didn't get it from Kubota. There are several places, I think every city would have at least one of these places where used pallet racking is kind of recycled, okay? So they go to businesses that no longer need a given set of pallet racking, and then they will stock and store all these different sizes. So I was able to go to a store in Indianapolis, a big warehouse, and they had every shape and size of pallet racking. And a lot of it was compatible. So I was able to pick exactly the size and shape pieces that I wanted for this width. So this is a 12-foot section, and that's a 10-foot section. Not only could I choose the widths I wanted, I could also choose how much weight they carried. So for instance, if I didn't need it to carry so much weight, you could get these that were thinner, and that would allow you a little bit more storage room. I was able to measure the width of the space I had, ask about the length of these. I had to worry a little bit about how much overlapped and how much these sections took up. It turns out that these are 3 inches wide. So basically, if this is a 12-foot section, you add 3 inches here, then this is a 10-foot section over here, and then 3 inches on each end. That's how I was able to figure the overall width. When I added all that up, it came up just about a 1/4 inch more than what I had space for in the room here. Mm-hmm. We eventually just put Johnny on the front piece here and pushed it in. Yeah. Now I did grind a little bit off of the edge down on the bottom so that it shouldn't have been too much damage, and I guess it's still standing. Very cost-effective solution, especially when you can get exactly what you want. I found this place on Craigslist, and I was actually looking for people that were just selling a little bit of pallet racking or something like that. I don't recommend necessarily buying someone's scraps, someone's leftovers, even if they are in good quality. The reason is, if you'll go to one of these pallet racking wholesalers, you can get exactly what you want, exactly what you need for your space. And you're going to be having this racking in your shed for the lifetime of your usage, so go ahead and get the right thing. The 12-footers here I think are rated at 3,000 pounds per shelf, right? So it's tough stuff. All of this was $500, okay?
Not bad.
We didn't have to do anything. Now, the green vertical uprights here were actually, I believe, 10 or 12 feet high. We had to cut the top off of them. Be sure to reference this video. I'll try to show it to you up in whichever corner it is, and we'll put it in the end screen as well, where we were installing this stuff. Catriel hated seeing me cut the tops off. She could not stand the metalworking. One of the negatives of the configuration we put together was that we put this rack up here just about this much too high. Johnny can't really reach up there. Now we have some solutions that we use. We put these blocks on the floor and drive up on the block. It's not a very good solution. For a 1 Series tractor, it would have been better to have had that 3 or 4 inches lower. However, I didn't feel like we could spare that space in here.
Yeah.
Or in here. So we just kind of made the best compromise we could, left it at that. One of the limitations of the 1 Series lift height, right? It would be nice if it would lift maybe even 4 or 6 more inches. It would sometimes make a big difference for something like this. These things are rated at 1,000 pounds. This is not 1,000 pounds on here, and it's pretty heavy for it. I think it's because it's so high. When I start pulling, it's pretty heavy for it, but I wouldn't have any worry putting 500 pounds up here for myself. And that will cover most attachments, like a tiller or things like that. 500, 600 pounds will cover that. So I think it's relatively safe to put a small 1 Series compatible attachment on top of one of these racks. You can get your bottom wet and drive Johnny in.
You go ahead.
Uh-oh. With this distance, I think we might have room for even one more rack here.
It looks like it.
We need more attachments.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You just got a new tractor.
That's right. Vinny's not in here. Vinny's in the front garage. If you saw the recent video where we aerated the yard, it started raining a little hard. We pulled him in the front garage, and now we've got 3.5 inches since then. Most of our grass seed is probably in the sewer system.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe some of it's in the ground. Okay, we'll have more storage ideas as time progresses. Christy is really good at this stuff, and she just has to convince me of all the cool ideas she actually has. And you know, I'm a little blockheaded at this sometimes, so it takes her a while.
Yeah.
But for now, really appreciate you watching, everybody, and just happy to have you on the channel. It's really a blessing to have just so many kind and considerate viewers, and I just love the comments you leave. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. Hey, look at all this space back here. I think I could put a big tractor right in here.
Oh my goodness. I don't think so, Tim. Looks like there is room for Vinny if the shelter wasn't there.
Yeah. You know, I got things in here last winter and I knew I had space for a tractor then at times, but the difference is that a lot of stuff is accessible now. Whereas last winter I had it all in here, but it was all really stuffed back into these high shelves and in the corners and stuff. It was hard to access. This time, being on those racks and everything, it's just a minute or two to wheel it around and get to something.